Olá, boa noite, boa tarde. Let's see, what else can I say? Feliz quinta-feira. Hi, I am Krishan Wright. I am the founder of Blaxit Global and the host of the Blaxit Global podcast. I usually do my welcome and all of that, which I will get to, but I want to start this conversation off with a huge thank you. We will get into all of the details in a minute, but I would be remiss if I didn't start off by saying thank you for the text messages, the emails, the comments, the voice notes, the outpouring of support, the donations, everything. And my family and I feel enveloped and loved by the community. The prayers, it's everything. So my goal is to hopefully get through this without crying, but I want to start off with that. So thank you. So a lot has happened. For some of you watching this for the first time, you might not even know all of what has happened, but one of the reasons why I wanted to have this particular topic for tonight is that part of the journey of living abroad means that you will not be with your loved ones when life starts lifing. And how do you stay grounded and power through, as well as really just, giving you a new update on where things are and where Maya is and where our family is in this time. So I want to say hi to y'all in the chat. Yes. Yes. Oh, we've got our channel members. Cheryl's in the house. Hello. Boa noite. Teresa, thank you. I appreciate it and all of the messages. Hey, first in the chat though tonight was Black Expat 2B. Hey. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I will definitely update you all on how Maya is doing. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, New Jersey, I hear it's been cold. I hear it's been cold. It's been raining here in Portugal. We've got a tropical depression, Claudia, who has been tearing up the place. I don't know if some of you have seen the footage on Instagram. I just happened to see it when I was at my dentist earlier. And like the roof of the train station came off. It's like, what? Like, but yeah, she's still lingering. Tropical depressions, I think, are slower moving. So she's still lingering for a couple days. Hey, Tracy. Yes. Hey, Action BJ. Hey, committed to me forever. Yes. Physically, she is fine. Thankfully, prayerfully. Thank you, Jess. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, Catrice. How you doing? Hey, Positive. How are you? Yes. I know. I'm like, I don't even know what direction because I don't watch the news anymore. So I was like, I don't know if like Claudia was coming from the state to us or the other way around because we're on the Atlantic. I don't know. I don't know these things. Thank you, Benita. Thank you. So we're gonna get into it. Oof. Wow. All right. First, I'm gonna ask for a little bit of grace because, as you can imagine, this has been an emotional few days. Still processing a lot of things, and so I'm going to be sharing things and may lose my train of thought. But just know that it's just because I'm processing some things a little after the fact and some new things in real time. So what happened? So some of you have seen my daughter. She's been on the channel, I think, twice now. She's a junior in college and she's studying to become a veterinarian. She's studying animal science. And her little fur friend is in my lap. And so Maya and I, before she moved off to college and I moved here, I had been prepping my children for a long time about my move once I was very clear that that was going to be the plan. And the last, I'd say, year before I left, Maya and I were in therapy. And so we worked with a therapist because this was going to be, obviously a big life event with her going to college. We're incredibly close. And also with me physically being, like 3,500 miles away, whole ocean, a different continent, different language. So that year that we spent together was really our opportunity to start to negotiate. Like, what did I need from her? What did she need from me? And then, met in the middle. And so one of the things that we agreed on, well, it's really two big ones, is one, I don't go to bed my time without saying goodnight to her. And and then whenever she wants me to come, I come. So I was recently in, some of you know, I was recently in the States in September because it was her birthday. She was turning 20 and Miles was turning 25. So I spent a few days in the States, and she had just moved into her apartment. She moved off campus. This was the first time. And the apartment is located, even though it's technically off campus, is like practically on campus. But anyway, that's besides the point. But I went and spent 2.5 days. We went shopping because she wanted to hold off on getting some decorations for the apartment until I got there. And it was also her birthday. And so, it was a big life event. She was getting some gifts from her dad. Her brother gave her gifts. We had done some things. We fixed up the apartment. And it was really wonderful to see both of my children and how they have blossomed in their time since I've been away. And so I can think back to when I had my first apartment and what that sense of independence felt like once I moved off campus. I still, up until I moved in with my now ex-husband, I still had like my stuffed animals and, things from like my childhood. And, she just turned 20, so she just got out of her teens. So anyway, fast forward to Friday, and what happened. So thankfully, prayerfully, Maya was at work. And, I was saying goodnight because she works at a vet clinic, a vet hospital, actually. And so she was telling me about her night and, telling her about my day and, good night, go to sleep. And then I wake up, and I wake up pretty early, my time Saturday. So still nighttime Friday on the East Coast. And maybe because I'm getting a little older, it's a little hard for me to, like, my habit is to, check my phone when I wake up. And maybe because I'm getting a little older, it takes my eyes a while to focus on words. Like images are a lot easier for me. So anyway, when I open my phone, I see this. And I'm like, wait a minute, this can't possibly be what I think it is. Because I stayed at the apartment for 2 nights, and as you can see, it's a lot of trees. It's actually, the apartment complex was in like a little forest area. And I'm like, this can't be what I think this is. And so now I'm like trying to force my eyes to read, and make sense of something that does not make sense. And so what had happened was that there was a building that was under construction next to Maya's building. So that building is one that was fully engulfed in flames. Like I said, it's autumn. It's in the middle of a forest. The United States, they use a lot of timber and drywall. So it, and then unfortunately, according to news reports, ones I shared in the email, the town had low water pressure. So at the time, Maya's building was fine, but all of the complex, all of the students were evacuated as a precaution. So she's like seeing the footage, and I'm like, "Well, is your building fine?" It's like, "Oh yeah, they evacuated it." I'm like, "Okay," and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I was there. It's like little forest, but fingers crossed, prayerfully, we're good. And she gets off work. Sometimes past, she can't go into the apartment. So she went to she was at or was going to a hotel. Now all of the hotels in the area were practically sold out. So I'm like, what is going on? And this is like still very early in what happened. So it didn't make sense that it was the people that were evacuated. And then I try and go on like, um, my portals and travel things to kind of figure out like what's going on. And just to get a room in a 2-star hotel was like 520. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I've stayed in hotels by the campus. It is nowhere near that much. So now I'm like, whatever it is, doesn't matter. I need to get her over there. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, mother in America. So anyway, so some hours pass and now it's daylight and Maya tries to go, back over to the complex and ask like, what's going on from the police and, fire. Well, obviously fire people were busy fighting the fire. And thankfully there were no fatalities in the event. There are now 230 plus students who are unhoused. And, no one was injured, not even, responding first responders. And when she drove by, her building was still standing. And you could see, she said the top peak was damaged. So at that point, we're like, okay, well, maybe you just have to ride it out tonight. They're going to check the building as a precaution, make sure that it's, structurally sound. But the reports were that the main fire was still not under control. So what we didn't know, and unfortunately she found this out on the internet, was that because the first fire was never really brought under control and it was in the middle of a forest, the embers caught fire on the roof of her building, which is why she saw partial damage. And remember, low water pressure. That fire broke through the roof and then started to engulf her building. And then floor by floor. But then the fire department couldn't access it. So when she checks to find out, what news is going on, it says that the building was demolished. Now, this is in a span of a few hours from, oh my God, this is happening. And I want to say thank you to my Portugal family, because when I, put out the bat signal that this was going on, people were up calling hotels in the States, sending me information to try and get her a hotel, and just trying to mobilize the situation. So she now is like, well, it's demolished. I'm like, what? Like, you just went over there and it was there and now it's gone. Like, gone. Because she was like, oh, when she went by earlier, it's like, oh, okay, they'll do what they have to do. You'll get back in, make sure there's nothing damaged. 'Cause everything was in there, right? She's a student. She has exams this week. Computer, iPad, her stuffed animals, all of her clothes, her coat, all the stuff, her birthday stuff, all of her life. It was her first apartment, right? She still had, this year and next year of school. So her passport, yeah, everything just gone. So I'm reading these reports and, like it says 230 students, 230 plus students. Some of them are international students. So again, their passports and stuff. And we all know how America is about immigrants. So some of the reports that I had seen were when the buildings were evacuated as a precaution, um, some people thought, I remember when I was in a dorm when I was in school, somebody pulled the fire alarm, you just put on your shoes, you go outside. So they were like, oh, maybe somebody burned some pizza. We're just going to go outside for an hour. We're going to be back in, because at that point, their building was fine, structurally sound, not on fire. So they didn't grab anything. They just, grabbed their coats and went outside. No one thought, oh shit, maybe I should grab my passport. Maybe I should grab, important things, because I'm not going to be allowed back in the building. And no one, because when they started to demo the building, um, from the other footage that I had seen, as the bulldozer was going into the building, you could see the fire you couldn't see from the outside. It looked fine, but actually inside it was burning. So she went by again, and this is what was left of her building after reading online that it was demolished. And so it's incredibly disturbing and disillusioning to, leave your home and then, like, everything's gone, right? In a blink. Uh, so, this is us going through this for, hours at this time, and getting new information, because we're like operating originally on, oh, it'll just be a little while. You'll stay there, be safe. You'll go back to, oh shit, it's gone. Like, everything's gone. Like, now you're like literally unhoused. And so, she got to the, hotel, and I told her to go to Walmart. She had nothing but the clothes on her. It was her scrubs, because she works at a hospital. So she was getting sick because she had no coat and all this other stuff. So if it wasn't in her car and it wasn't her person, she didn't have anything. So getting her, to go to Walmart, get some toiletries, get some food. And then her dad, who thankfully lives now, because he had just moved a few months earlier to Massachusetts, but on the Cape, had made plans to come up the next day. And so, yeah, it was just, finding, and then the school started sending out information about, emergency meeting with the Red Cross and assessing who lived in the buildings, because again, this was off-campus housing. So which students lived in the building, what type of services did they need? Did they need immediate housing? how long, things like that. So she had to, leave the hotel and go and, stand in line and, go through the process of, um, you know, figuring that whole thing out. And so we were back and forth. Um, but I know that this could have been a different outcome. That is not lost on me. And so while this is hard, if I had to pick my pain, I pick this, right? Because the other pain I could not live through that. I know myself, I could not live through that. So if I had to pick my pain, our pain, I pick this. Um, so yeah, I was just trying to process with her what was going on, how she was feeling, because it's a traumatic event. Um, all of the not knowing, and as much as we are in a connected world. And again, some grace to obviously the school and first responders because, the fire went on for a long, long time. Um, you know, it was just a lot. It was a lot. So now we're at Thursday, so almost a week from the incident. I gotta take a beat for a second before I finish the rest of the story. So, yeah. I'm just reading your messages. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even think I could do this. But, it's which I started from the beginning of the conversation, is just I did not expect this outpouring of support. Um, it it's amazing. Um, and I'm not hmm, I have some things that I've been working on this year, and being more vulnerable was one of them. And so my default, like old Krishan, would have kept it to herself. But in this time that I've been abroad, I've been able to shed some layers and um, challenge old beliefs and things like that. And so part of what I think people have been witnessing is kind of this evolution. And so I did. I opened my mouth. I leaned on the people here and shared publicly, what had transpired, which wasn't an easy thing to share, but overwhelmed in a good way, in a great way, by the love and support and prayers and messages and some of you, like, I know what your online aliases are, or the channels that some of you have donated through don't necessarily allow me to reply in words. And so I've sent emails, and now I'm sharing this publicly. And so it's just thank you. Thank you. Where Maya was mentally and trying to process all of this, she was at the point where she didn't want to go back to school. She didn't want to be in the town. She just wanted to go, right? That's a normal human response to a tragic event, right? As human beings, we are hardwired, fight or flight. And rather than, say, oh, no, you don't really mean that. It's like all feelings are valid. All feelings are valid. I've had some rough things in my life that have happened. I have never had that happen, right? And so what I didn't want to happen is I didn't want her to sit in that. And thankfully, again, through the outpouring of support and love and prayers and messages. She is each day feeling more stronger and having greater sense of agency. So she is still in Massachusetts. She's with her dad, and she's around, her dogs that she has there, her room there, things that can ground her. Um, and as she starts to put her life back together, getting a computer, um, looking for an apartment, which I'll go into a little bit more detail about that in a minute. Getting clothes because everything was gone. So getting clothes. And my by education, by education, I did work as a social worker for a hot minute though before I had her. But by education, I'm a social worker, although I'm not her social worker. But I knew that the sooner she could get some semblance of control over, her life, um, the more she'll be able to process things. And right now, being at her dad's, and she went and saw her brother yesterday, who's also in Massachusetts. Um, these are things that are making her feel safe, right? Because obviously something big has happened. Um, and yeah, it was rough. It was rough. Um, feeling the feeling helpless, feeling helpless that there was nothing that she could have done, I could have done to prevent this. Um, you know, going to going to the U.S. was not, not necessary or a thought because, and her dad or brother is there, and she was going to be there. So, my physical presence wasn't necessary, although, we're videoing and going back and forth. Um, and so, yeah, it's the physical distance was hard only because as a parent, you want to shield your child from bad things, right? Um, and you know that you can't. You know that things are going to happen that are outside of your control. Um, so yeah, so I did a lot of crying and trying to process. It would come in waves. It would come in waves where I'd be like, because I think Saturday I was all in, get her safe, get her clothes, get her food. Oh shit, the building's gone. Like now we've got to like change. Like the crisis is now evolved. Um, and then Sunday was more like, oh wait, what just happened? And processing it in waves and uh, crying. And I took a bath and just trying to do some things that I know that ground me. Um, and also, of course, responding to messages to the extent that I could. And if I haven't gotten to you, which I think I've gotten to all of them that have emailed or messaged directly. Um, but yeah, thank you. Uh, so yeah, it's been a challenging few days. And yes, grateful. Oh my God, grateful every day that she is here, she's alive, she's physically safe. Emotionally, this is gonna take a long time, right? Um, it's gonna take a long time. The school is, of course, working with the students to make accommodations. So remote learning. She is going to school um, to take an exam next week. Um, but all of the professors have been notified. And so, to the extent that there's extensions, because she really only had like 2 more weeks, and then there was the Thanksgiving break, and then another 2 weeks of school finals. And then there's a long break, which she was going to come here, which she is going to come here, because we were going to do a grad school tour in Europe. And so, yeah, part of Saturday was like canceling her passport, making sure, because everything that was in there is gone. And they haven't told, us like how they're going to, whether everything that was demolished. And, like I said, 230 students, some of them foreign students, passports, driver's licenses, birth certificates, some of everything, right? And we live in a world where, people thrive in crisis, and not in a good way. And so cancel the passport. She has to go next week and apply for a new one so that she has a passport to travel here, like she does every January. So yeah, it's just, thankfully I had, a copy of her passport. Obviously I have, a copy of her birth certificate and stuff like that. So the things that I'm able to do from here, like, apply for things, doing all that stuff, I've been doing. And so, and I talked to her dad the other day, and we were, talking about the apartments, because, yeah, I had just paid her rent on the first. And then that week, where are you going, Bailey? You gonna leave? You wanna leave me? Okay, Bailey says she don't know what she's doing. Yeah, as I started to think back on that week, I paid the rent on the first, and I think it was the fourth, the third or fourth, I don't remember. But anyway, her favorite artist is Giveon. I think he's an R&B singer, and for months, she had bought the ticket for the concert. It was her first concert. She was going by herself. She was like, I want to see him. He was in Boston. And so, she went all the way to Boston, went to the concert. She bought a little shirt. And I remember, she sent me the pictures that she had of the shirt. And she's so proud of herself. And I was like, look at you, right? Doing that. And Friday, everything's gone. And so all these things are, starting to come up, memories of things that she had in the apartment, and, keep encouraging her, like, things can be replaced. One of the things that is near and dear to her that was lost was when I went to New Zealand for the first time. I got her this sheep, because there are more sheep than people. And there's this little stuffed animal, Mr. Sheep was his name. And she's like, Mommy, Mr. Sheep is gone. And I was like, I know. And I was like, but, Mommy would get on a plane and go to New Zealand and get you another sheep. You do know who your mother is, right? It don't take much. So yeah, it's been interesting. And I know we collectively, together are getting better, because, even though in the midst of, like I said, things coming and going in waves, just our normal rhythm of, communication, and, sending each other funny things throughout the day. And she's starting to get back to that, and so every day, I'm like, oh, or she's gone shopping. And I sent her, the money that has been thankfully coming in to support her. And she was like, oh, because she's like, I need a coat. So that's the thing, because now it's getting cold. And yeah, so she went and shopping yesterday and got, like, everything was going right. Her makeup, hair stuff. And so she did her Ulta shop, and I think she went to Walmart, and she did her unboxing. And so she showed me, like, all the things she got, and some, new sneakers, and what what do you call not Skechers. I forget those things. But anyway, they look like little wedges. I forget. Crocs. She got Crocs because she has to go to work. And so even work, because I suggested taking more time off from work. She had called out over the weekend, um, again, the sooner she can get into parts of her routine, that's going to help her feel safe, um, and have some control. Um, so yeah. Whew, okay. Some of you, I'm just looking. Yeah, it has been. It has been. Yes, thank you, Panita. I'm gonna put it in the chat. I don't know. This link looks a little weird, but I'm gonna put it in the chat. Um, so I had sent it out in the email over the weekend when everything happened, but if you are feeling so called to send some support to Maya, she appreciates it. The school is now allowed the students that have been impacted to have meals free of charge at any of the dining halls. Um, I think she had just gone grocery shopping and just like all the stuff. So, and they have like what do you have it? Like a thrift store. So people have been donating clothes. I know she ordered a computer yesterday. So before I went live, I don't think it had arrived yet. Yeah, it's the school. Yes, they are doing some things. And, just typically it's like, uh, there was a GoFundMe, I think, by the school, and they do the funds on first come, first serve, needs-based basis and stuff like that. I have a bit of an aversion to those things because, yeah, you know, half the time the money doesn't get dispersed in the way, which I'm not making allegations against the school per se, just in general. And so the direct support from our community has been, tremendous. Um, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I know it's not my typical live, but I feel like there's a lesson in the blessing. And so that's why I'm sharing. Um, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. If even if it happened to me in my 50s, right? Let alone, a brand new 20-year-old. Um, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Uh, so I have aw, thank you. Yeah, it was a lesson for me too. Yeah, to share with the community. Be no bared. To share, in that way. Um, and, like I said, the community continues to show up in such beautiful ways. Some people have sent, prayer passages and, of course, monetary donations and support and messages because, like I said, she was teetering, as to whether or not she was going to take a semester off. And I just kind of let her get it all out. Like, you know, no thought, no feelings bad. Of course, I have my own personal opinion, right? But, she's now, thankfully, nearly a week later, she's preparing to take, that's what I'm hoping the computer comes today, because then I'll give her enough time to study for this exam. Because, she's in STEM, right? She's studying to be a doctor. So she had just gotten, she had done a concert Tuesday, and I think Wednesday she had just gotten, or Thursday, she had just gotten 100 on her genetics exam. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, look at my little baby genius. She's an A student, Dean's List and everything. And so I'm like, I got to keep her focused, right? Like, yes, like we've got to process this, keep her mentals intact. And so that's why the support has been phenomenal, right? Just to keep her spirit up and know that she has a whole community of people she doesn't even know who have never met her, but who are touched and want her to succeed. We have, there's less than 2% of veterinarians in the United States are Black. And I was like, and a female? It's like, no. So, yeah, that's kind of where it is. Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's been a challenging couple days, but just like she's starting to go back into her routine, I am as well. Sunday, I just stayed inside in cocoon because I just needed to process and just, um, go through the emotions. Um, I was just, I was on my balcony just wailing, and like I said, the bath and the music and like my rituals, my Sunday rituals that helped. And then Monday, I went to Pilates because I had my Pilates classes were already scheduled, and that helped. Where are you going, Bailey? You leaving me or no? No? Okay. To physically move my body and just get, purge a lot of what I was feeling, on the machine. And went again today and physical therapy, which was helpful because with all the things that was going on, I go now I got 2 physical therapy. I'm like, I told the guy yesterday, I was like, I sprained my ankle like a month ago. And I didn't know it was a sprain. And then they were like, that's a sprain. They said, you gotta go physical therapy. I'm like, damn, now I got physical therapy on my ankle and physical therapy on my jaw, my face. So today was physical therapy on my face. And so she's like, it's a half an hour, pulling my cheek, getting it. All of this on both sides was like tight. My shoulders, everything, because I've just been under so much tension. So today's session was painful because my muscles were so tight, and you don't really realize it. You're just powering through. And so tonight I'm going to take a muscle relaxer because clearly my jaw and my shoulders were tight. So I'm like, oh, I need to get a massage. That would be a smart thing to do. But yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot, y'all. Oh, I did record the podcast. I recorded this week. Haven't edited because my mind has been. And for the thank you for our passport crew. I know I owed you guys before the fire a workshop, but I need to get my full thoughts back before I do that. So I appreciate everybody who's giving me a little bit grace if I'm slow on responding to things. Wow, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it takes time to rebuild. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll put the links again. I think I might have to do it separately because it looked a little jarbled. But There's one is for Wise, and the other one is Cash App. And so it's been very helpful for her as she's, you know, like, and she's a girl, right? So like all the stuff. She needs all the stuff, right? Her makeup, bras, underwear, slippers, everything, is gone. So she was going and she got she bought some Fenty hair, Rihanna's line. So she had to buy some shampoo because she had to wash her hair over the weekend and she had to use the hotel shampoo. And it's like, that shampoo is not meant for us. And she was just like, oh, the horror. And so then she got this stuff and she washed her hair today. And she's like, oh, I feel like a brand new person. And, and so like all these little things like are helping her, um, yeah, get resettled. Um, and, and then, she was shopping today and she's like, especially being on the Cape, there aren't as many malls like the choices. And I was just on the Cape when I was visiting her and my son. And I hadn't been there since I was in my 20s. I used to vacation there when I was in my 20s. But in any event, a lot of her favorite stores are actually here in Portugal. And so I was like, well, just, focus on what you need, like for the next 4 weeks, because then you're going to be on this big break. And it's like, well, when you come here, we'll, do some shopping. And so I like the stores better there. So, which is good. So we'll do some mommy daughter shopping. And my original plan for 2026, I thought about it right before I went live. I was like, oh, I'm not going to go back to the States until she graduates. Well, outside of this trip I have for Thanksgiving to see my mom and my siblings. And I'm like, I'm going to have to go to the States. Yeah, I'm going to have to go to the States next year. Because, once she gets resettled in her own apartment, it'll be important for me to go and see her in it. So that will happen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to her coming here in January once I get, once she gets her new passport and all that stuff. And obviously I have to, update her record. And then I was going to buy, so God works in mysterious ways. I had just sent her like the night before it happened, the flights I was considering for our trip to Ireland. And I'm like, oh, and then I said, oh, I'm gonna book the ticket over the weekend. And then everything happened because I would need her passport number for that. So I'm like, well, at least now I'll just wait until we get the new passport. Yeah, our community is epic. Like, I was already overwhelmed when, some of y'all, including you, Teresa, came and partied like rock stars for the 5-year anniversary yacht party and the meetup with Exodus Summit. I was like riding off that. I was like, people came from all around the world. And then this outpouring of support, and I was just like, what? Like, you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Amazing human beings. And hopefully, by me sharing this in real time, shows you that, one, if you have a dream, you can still have your dream, have your life, right? Doesn't prevent things from happening, back home. But you can get through it, you know. You don't have to give up on your dreams. You don't have to give up on your dreams. And yeah. Uh, Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of emotions. A lot of emotions. Yes, thank you. I dropped the links and yeah. When she told me she got 100 on her genetics exam, I was like, my baby genius. Because look, when I was in school, in high school, yeah, when I was in high school, I was National Honor Society, college dean's list, like who's who, all the things, right? I was like, look at that, look at that, look at my genes. But I was not good at math. I was not good at math in school. I had to do, I think I had to do it for 2 years because I was so bad at math. And then, I had to have math to graduate. So I would have been at risk if I didn't get where I needed to be. So I had to go to night school 1 year. And I don't even think they do that anymore, night school. Night school 1 year when I was in high school. And then I think it was my senior year, I had to do junior math and senior math. So I had to give up my lunch. Like, math was not my thing. Because when, like, regular numbers, I'm good. But when you have to put numbers or letters where numbers should be, that's where we went wrong. So, and then when I went to grad school, that's probably one of the reasons why I picked social work, because I was like, I don't have to take an exam or anything, entrance exam. But I did pretty well when I took the LSAT the second time when I went to law school for a hot second. And yeah, it was funny. I had to take statistics in grad school for social work. I was like, damn, I thought I had gotten past it. And sure enough, both my kids are really good in math. Really good in science. Mm, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Aw, thank you. It's coming because we have actually was looking at the calendar today. Now that my brain's starting to work again, so I was like, oh, I got to put our holiday party for Blaxit Global Passport members. Our virtual holiday party is going on the calendar. I am going to do that tomorrow because little baby girl's going to be um, at the groomer, so I'll have some time to catch up on some things. So I will put our virtual holiday party on the calendar, and most likely I'll be able to do the workshop. I can conceptualize because, like, my brain was like so focused, obviously with good reason, with what was going on that like nothing else was permeating. I was actually surprised that I could record an episode of the podcast, but I was like, ooh, January is going to be here before you know it. And I already told y'all it was coming back. So I haven't edited anything. Nope. But yes, I have started recording. So it will be in your ears. Um, thank you. Thank you. Yes. And who knows? We might have another yacht party. I might be able to pull a rabbit out of my hat. We'll see. We'll see. Um, aw, thank you. Thank you so much. That's so thoughtful, Greta. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's so wild every time I think about it. And I was just talking about it with you guys the other week, that I started Blaxit Global when I was in New Jersey, dealing with everything that was going on in my life, let alone, the pandemic and, civil unrest, and just wanting to channel that energy into something positive. And that's where Blaxit Global came. And then not knowing, you know, the podcast was going to evolve into this community and, the events that we have here and the scouting program, Nomad Noir, um, all of the things that I followed, meeting you all, and still getting messages from people around the world who have made their exit, their Blaxit. And even if you haven't made it yet, like you're closer to your journey. And so, yeah, I think maybe one of the things, I don't know, maybe it's because I started it before I moved. And so, like, I sat, I sat um, at the same place where many of you are, right? And you've seen this evolution to my life here, now in Portugal. Um, and so, yeah, it's been 5+ years of Blaxit Global and um, sharing my journey and um, the ups. But it's also important to show the downs because moving abroad doesn't prevent life from happening to you or your loved ones back home. And it isn't a magic solve for things that are wrong in your life, Um, but I do believe that distance and changing your environment and doing the internal work and healing allows you to have a fuller life abroad. Um, and I think one of the videos that I think or sessions I want to do talk about live before the end of the year is some of the shadow work that I've been on for this year that has been most impactful. But I will save that for another day. Yeah. Thank you. And hopefully when she comes in January, she might be up for coming on with her Maya sense of humor. Maya is hilarious. Yeah, my family. Let me tell you, my wonderful family, and some of them are in the comments or were earlier, have been awesome. Just like I said, making phone calls, mobilizing, and also, being respectful of my boundaries too. In time where I just like I said, Sunday I just needed to cocoon, so I had to decline some invites just so I could, kind of be with myself, be with my thoughts, and process. And then, slowly I've been coming out of it. I did go out Saturday to see the lighting. In Armazém Chiado, which was nice. That's like the first part of the season, which is like my favorite season in Portugal. Is the holidays, and so hearing the choir and seeing the lights, and that was really special. I went down with Shar, and so that was a nice time to kind of like take my mind off a little bit, but it wasn't like completely because I was, have my headphones in, go somewhere quiet, be on the phone with Maya or video, you know. But it was good to kind of like, okay, it's still holiday, like, get me a little bit more present and not in my thoughts. Thank you. Yeah, when I took the LSAT, I took it twice. I took it in undergrad. I didn't do so well. And then when I got older, I took it and I did much better. Logical reasoning was my weak area. And so I got really, really good at logical reasoning. Thank you, Sudoku. And but then don't go to law school when you're in the middle of a divorce. That was my lesson. So I didn't finish school, but it's all good. I love the way my life turned out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then I had to like call my mom that day, well, because she's in Florida and she's in this weird area where it's like another hour time delay. So that wasn't an easy call either. Because my mom and my daughter are extremely close. Like they're like partly because they're the same zodiac sign, but they are on the phone. They have their like rituals, like Maya and I have our rituals. Her and my mom have these rituals, and so they get on the phone and they, talk for hours. And my mom was like, "What? Like I was gonna call her." Because their usual thing, and ask about the concert, because that was like the big thing. She's been leading up to, this concert, and she went to the concert Tuesday and got in the shirt, and it's like, oh yeah, and it did the exam, it's like, oh my goodness, and then poof, in a blink of an eye, like, whew. So yeah. Oh wow. I thought about, well, not a school psychologist. I was trying to be a school social worker, but nobody leaves those jobs. Nobody leaves those jobs. But you got job security. You got job security. Wow. But yeah, I mean, that was the other thing. Like I wasn't expecting the outpouring of especially financial support because, I know that, people are losing their jobs and the economy in America is, oof. And like I said, all the money that, of course, didn't matter, right? Because my daughter was in crisis. But just seeing how, like, things were being price gouged in the immediate, time after the event. And I talked to one of my good friends I used to work with many, many years ago, who's unfortunately battling cancer. And we were talking, and this person has to go back to work. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're like in the middle of treatment. And it's like, I thought you were going on leave. It's like, oh, they denied it. It's like, what? And you got to go back because you need your insurance in order to continue to get treatment. But this person works in a school. And so, well, if your immune system's compromised by chemo, being with a bunch of grubby children is not going to help you stay alive. Like, and so it just, I sent I sent this person some money because they, like I could see the situation was getting, dire. And I was like, this is why, one of the reasons why I could not be there. Like the value system, that should not happen. Like that should not happen where you have to choose, like, oh, you stay out, like you need money, so you got to go back to work. But work can kill you. My daughter and 230 other students were in crisis and needed a place to stay, but, raising the nightly rate, more than three times the amount. What? I don't get it. I don't get it. Um, yeah. So, yeah, my value system is not the same as the country of my birth. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm actually going to check on that friend over the weekend just to make sure that they're okay and that they've been taking precautions, wearing masks and, gloves and stuff. Cause I was just like, what a horrible, horrible thing to put somebody in that position, right? If you don't go back to work, you lose your insurance, you die, right? If you go back to work and your immune system gets compromised, you get sick or and die. Like, what? It's just a horrible, horrible thing. And so, yeah, I think this situation just also showed, there was a lot of, good things that came out of it, of course, right? Our community support. And then there were things that were illuminated. Um, you know, how is it that that town, how the hell you don't have no water or low water pressure? Um, why are we building buildings in forests? Um, you know, just some of the things with even finding an apartment, because now, students, are in school and um, finding apartments. Now you have a greater demand because now you have 230 people that now have to find a place to stay. Um, so that's a challenge. And an affordable place to stay. I mean, her studio was, I was paying over 2,100 a month for a studio. And, they know they got these kids. They know they got these students, right? Because they know kids ain't gonna pay. We get the parents. We got them. And so, hopefully we're gonna get her into this other apartment, but it's gonna be more expensive. So it's but gotta keep your eye on the prize. It's not forever. It's not her forever place, right? She's got a year and a half left of school. But I remember my first apartment and I moved off campus. It was a studio. I think it was a studio. It might have been a studio. I think I paid 200 or 300 a month. It was so wild. And I'm like, it wasn't that long ago. In my mind. But, now it's like, what? Mind you, yeah, insane. That's more than what I paid for my 3-bedroom brand new apartment here. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Absolutely. Yeah. And the new one's gonna be more expensive. So yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Been seeing that too. Some less than wonderful things have also transpired, but I'm not gonna dwell on those things. Yeah. Wow, really? For a studio? Sheesh. Yeah, but it's gotten out of control, gotten out of control. Um, so yeah. So I think I've answered all the questions. Ooh, we're at like an hour. Oh yeah, New York City. Yep. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. I think I've answered all the questions. Let me just look. Billy, what are you doing, little mama? She's going all over the place. She's just um what a cute self. Well, she's gonna be cuter tomorrow when she goes to the groomer. She's looking a little hot mess-ish. But I think I got all the questions. I'm just scrolling. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, that's the craziness. Yeah. I mean, that, look, not to digress. I mean, that's what they're doing now with this proposed 50-year mortgage. I'm like, mm, 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 mm. But, uh, hopefully this story that I've shared and and others have inspired you, like to keep going, right? Keep going on your path, keep going on your dreams. Benita, I didn't have wise. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did. I know. I did. I've had it for so long, so I don't even remember. But excuse me. That's why I gave Cash App as another option for folks. And if you still run into any problems, you can drop me a line. info@blaxitglobal.com. Yeah. Yeah. Once I start getting little things back, then I'm like, okay, you know, because I think I was talking to my mom about it, and I was talking to Maya because I encouraged her to get counseling, because you have stages of grief, and yes, these were material possessions, but these were her possessions. These were things that she had, sentimental attachment. Really, that was a big old bird. And things like that, and memories. And so, and it's just very, disturbing because the thing, and this is why I wanted her to understand, is to get to a place of feeling safe again, right? Best case scenario, which excuse me, I have no doubt, she'll get her own apartment again. And, but she has to be able to feel safe in that apartment, safe enough to sleep, safe enough to go to work, and know that when she comes home, there'll be a home to come back to, right? So there are things that, it's a traumatic event. And so being able to process this is, and not run from the emotions, is important, because she has to get back to a place of homeostasis, feeling normal, feeling safe. And you got to settle down, little mama. You getting hot? Yeah, you getting tired? Okay, we're going to go soon, okay? You going to go outside? Okay. Bailey's getting tired. Something about it being past her bedtime. She says a lot for a little furry thing. But yeah, it's going to be important for her to get back to that. And so the big thing right now is like getting her to the Thanksgiving break, because she has some exams. And then, she'll have a breather. She'll be with her dad and her brother. And then, the finals. And then she'll be out here with me. And so, we'll have our mommy daughter time for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And so that's one of the things I've been, encouraging her to talk to someone, because once you get the, thing again, you get the apartment, but you got to be able to sleep. You got to be able to go to work and know your stuff is going to still be there. Um, and so, I know this in my rational mind as a mom, right? And as a by education, a social worker, but this is her lived experience, and so it's a lot. Yeah, they are resilient. Yeah, they are resilient. And so as parents, our best case scenario, right? We pour into our children, and you come to a point, because I say this a lot with my mom. So human beings, I'll digress for a second. Human beings are the only species that, coddle like our children, right? You see birds, they like, look, birdie, you gotta fly. Kangaroos, look, Joey, you got to jump, right? Humans, we like 20, 18, some people 30, 40 years, uh, in not letting their children grow. My philosophy with my kids it's always been, you know, we together till you turn 18, right? And then I have to trust everything that I've poured into you, right? Your dad's poured into you, the people that have loved you and love you, the good will stick. And so when I went to see them in September, I was able to really enjoy like the outward manifestation and confirmation of that. And through this incident, even though this has shaken, her and me to our core, I'm starting to see like just, you know, I didn't overthink it. I didn't second guess the move, because we did a lot of prep work to make sure that we were going to be okay. And so this was the biggest test of that. Bailey, are you trying to get comfortable? Okay. This was the biggest test of that thus far. Um, and like I said, the emotional, Bailey. You were so cute. Um, the emotional, now you got the camera moving all weird. The emotional scars will take some time. But like I said, thankfully, no one was harmed. All the students got out. No firemen, no first responders were injured. It's just, yeah, which is a huge relief. But yeah, 230 plus students, and so they live in a connected world. So, not having their computers, not having their passports, for students who are international who had planned to go home for the break, now they have to try and get emergency passports from their home country, right? It's from the country of your citizenship. And so there's just a lot of people that are impacted through this event and their families. And yeah, it's just a big thing. So yeah, you get a lot of satisfaction knowing you gave the kids the tools they needed. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so excited for your son. You have to let me know how it goes. Yeah. You just have to trust that what you put into them will manifest as needed, right? Guided, guarded, and protected always. All right, good people. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart and my daughters. And I'll be back next Thursday. Until then, be safe, be well, hold your loved ones tight. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Ciao, ciao. Boa noite.